Hey folks, how you doing? Papa Joe here. Oh, it's 1:30 in the morning, Eastern time. I'll get this thing situated in a minute. Y'all have been something on my mind for a couple of days. With the nonsense that I've heard this week, old Como, however you say his name, in New York there, he threatened our president. Really? That's really not smart. Him with his little comment about he better have an army. Never mind his bodyguards, he better have an army to come to New York. I got news for you, partner. He's the commander-in-chief. Not only does he have an army, he has an air force, he has a navy, he has the Marines. Now, I don't care what kind of thugs you got. They wouldn't stand a chance. So don't threaten our president. That's just plumb stupid. And yeah, I know he tried backwatering today about it, but still. It was a threat until you got caught on it, and then you tried to chicken shit out. Also, the same individual talking about how the president didn't help him at all. Didn't help the state, the city, or nothing. Really? Yes, he did. It wasn't that many months ago that you was singing his praise. You went on national TV saying how any and everything y'all asked for, he made it happen, including sending one of our ships up there into your bay. Including y'all having a tent city, a hospital tent city in your park that you really never used on either one of them. It was a waste of money because you went panicking and hollering the sky was falling. And he pandered to your crybaby nonsense. Huh. And now that you don't need him, you're going to lie about him. And this is a big shot in the Democratic Party. Huh. Since we're talking about big shots, let's talk about the leader of the Democrat Party. The third in command in our nation. The third most powerful person in the United States of America. And she wants to tell us that she got set up and bazoodoed by a small hair salon owner. Really? And this person buffaloed you into coming in there and getting your hair done without a mask. And it's all that woman's fault. Because you was set up. And you'll own responsibility for letting yourself be set up. Well, I'm so proud of you. However, being that you was that easily set up, I really don't think you should be trusted with any national security stuff. I really don't. Much less the position that you could hold should this election coming up doesn't come off right. And they're already trying to make it not come off right. Imagine that. I was reading today where the Democratic Party has an organization that has contributed millions of dollars to another company to put out a bunch of false information about our president and about the Republican Party. Imagine that. Their whole goal is to put this out to interfere and change the outcome of the election. Don't that almost sound like what they was accusing the president of having Russia do? Huh. They are paying somebody else to be an outside influence on the election. How come it's good for them but not good for us? Interesting. That is what broke the camel's back. I want to give you all a little bit of a history lesson according to how I know it and how I think it goes down. And it goes all the way back to the end of the 60s and beginning of the 70s. It goes all the way back to when they started with their civil rights stuff. And I don't mean Martin Luther King. I mean our government. They had a plan. And who was it? Lyndon Johnson that said, I'll have them voting for us for the next 100 years. And how did he do it? He started the welfare system. He started giving handouts. He started hand feeding, is what he did. Very slowly in the beginning, wasn't it? I remember back in the 70s when they first came out with food stamps, my people didn't want them because it was a disgrace. It was a handout. My people didn't want them. Well, they didn't really want us to take them anyway. They wanted the black city folks to take them. That ain't being racist on my part. It was their part. Because the black community and the black race was targeted. And they've been targeted ever since. The problem is where they're hollering racism today, it is true. However, they've got their anger at the wrong person. They've got it at the white individual out here on the streets. We're not your problem. Your problem are your white politicians, and nowadays a few black ones, that you keep electing into your offices. It's all been a plan since back then. What happened in the mid-70s? Roe versus Wade. Does anybody remember that? Has anybody done your homework on it? That's when it came up about the abortions. I can't think of that woman's name that started it, but she proudly proclaimed that it was all starting to keep the black population under control. Period. Look it up. Hillary and Bill Clinton praised her here in the last few years. Check it out. It's true. Hillary said that she was one of her idols. What does that tell you about them? Now, along with it, as they started increasing the welfare system, they started making it so that you could get more money, more benefits, more everything if the man was not in your home. They was encouraging the women to sign up with them and their children and the man not be in the home. And have you noticed that since the 70s, the father figure in the black home has decreased? You ain't got to like this, but before you go call me a liar and stupid, why don't you do some homework and check it out? And in my opinion, they've gone even farther. In my opinion, a lot of the rap music and a lot of the trends of the black community was set up. Your rap music and your thug mentality, you was set up. The drugs in your street, you was set up. This was all part of a big plan, whether you like it or not. Do you honestly think that if there was a war on drugs like our government has proclaimed for the last 30, 40 years, do you really think they could not have closed down the drug dealing more than they have? Have you noticed here in the States, you really don't hear about any of the big dealers getting busted. Only the street level dealers are getting busted. And they're busting them left and right and putting them away for years, whether it's pot, crack, whatever. That's why our prison system is overflowing. So yeah, you were set up on it. And the thing is you keep voting for them, and they keep setting you up more. They have encouraged and set up the whole gangbanger, thug mentality, whatever you want to call it, for years. They have destroyed the whole family idea in the inner cities. It's a fact. And here the last year or two, they have really started piling it on. This whole nonsense we got going right now, to me, it's all part of the plan. All this rioting in the streets, it's all part of the plan. Have you noticed that most of these big cities, and some of the smaller ones now, that they was having peaceful protest? And there's nothing wrong with a peaceful protest. The majority of Americans want small government. The majority of Americans are not happy with our government. And we all have complaints. And I'm a firm believer in freedom of speech. I'm a firm believer that if you're not happy with our government, that you should be able to speak out. And I don't care what level the government is. However, once your peaceful protest has been taken over by people being bussed in, that starts all the violent stuff and starts all the looting, you're being set up. And it's been proved time and again that the thugs and the idiots are bussed in. How come? It's a distraction. It's nothing but a distraction. And where they're trying to distract you over here with this, you need to be looking over there and see what they're doing. What is it they don't want you to see them doing? What are they distracting you from noticing? Right now, it's the election. Right now, it's a few of their laws that they're wanting to sneak in on us. What exactly it is, I don't know at the moment. But I know it's got to do with the election. The Democrat Party wants to steal the election. And I've got news for you that are not wise enough to figure it out. Let me spell it out for you. The extreme left, which is what's taken over the Democrat Party, wants to turn us into a socialist country. You're complaining right now about your living conditions and your rights. When it becomes a socialist country, you're going to have worse living conditions, you're going to have less rights, and they won't even pander you to pretend like they're listening. They won't care. They've done accomplished their goal. If we allow them to win, they're going to ruin our country as we know it. Socialism has not succeeded anywhere in the world. Period. It has always failed. This nonsense about share the wealth, it does not exist, people. They'll cry that right now and promise you anything it takes to get you to back them. However, once they get the power that they're wanting you to give them, They're going to take the money. And that's what it's all about in the long run, is the money. And it's not the big corporations that you have to worry about. It's the politicians. They're really the ones with the power. Them and their puppet masters. And don't think for a minute that there isn't puppet masters. The Rothschilds and all of them. They're the ones that are pulling the strings. All of these elected idiots we got, they're nothing but paid puppets. Now, I know I was directing most of that at the black community, but guess what, boys and girls? They're playing all of us. And the media is one of their weapons. How many of you honestly believe that this COVID-19 is real? How many of you have done enough research to know that the World Health Organization has now said that children are very unlikely to get it? That it's very rare that the young get it, much less pass it around. How many of you have done your homework to see where the American CDC has now said that their count of 180,000 dead Americans was wrong? It's more like 6%, which takes us down to 10,000. We lose more than that due to the common cold and flu every year. Really. Why are some of these states, mostly Democratic, are trying to keep everything so closed down? Because of the election. They think if they can keep the businesses closed down and Americans out of work and put our country into a recession, that all of us are going to get mad and blame President Trump. And then we won't vote for him. We'll vote for Joe Biden so that Nancy can take over the country. And don't think for a minute that ain't going to be what happens. They know Joe Biden's health will not hold up for him to do this. Should he win, I promise you, in less than 6 months, they are going to have him put out of commission. He'll be deemed unfit for the office. Guess what? Then Harris takes over. Who's due to be her vice president? Nancy. And Nancy will be pulling a lot of strings. It don't look good. The states and governors that are trying to blame President Trump for this COVID-19, wrong. It ain't his fault. We all know that. He started trying to stop this way before they would allow him. He was trying to put a stop to it and protect us when he had mayors and governors saying, come on down to Chinatown. Go ahead and ride the subway. He's just being one of these phobias. Remember? Those that are trying to say that all this civil unrest, the looting and rioting, that's all in Trump's America. No, it's not. He might be the president, but he is not allowed to stop it unless it is a written request by that state governor to come in and stop it. His hands are tied. So your Democratic cities where this rioting is going on and is being allowed to go on is your mayor and governor's fault. So it's their rioting, their looting, their violence. Because all they have to do is say, Mr. President, please help. Only one has done that. And in a matter of hours, all the bad people left. Except the 200 or so that got arrested. And now people are back up peacefully protesting. Imagine that. So whose fault is it really? There's a lot going down behind the scenes right now, people. A whole lot. And they are wanting to distract you with this COVID-19, with all of its deaths. Explain to me how all these essential workers at Walmart, Kroger's, Home Depot, truck drivers, wherever they're all at their DCs, their warehouses, distribution centers, all of these people are working and not dying. Kind of funny, ain't it? I mean, I thought I was going to get COVID-19 today, and I stepped into Walmart because it's not allowed in Walmart. So I dodged that bullet. Is that how you really think it works? Do you really think these little bandanas, kerchiefs, these little paper masks, do you honestly think that's going to stop you from getting this deadly virus? It's so deadly that we can't even be on the streets. It's so deadly we can't go to work. We need to stay at home. Stop and think about it. You're being played. You're being distracted. Why are you being distracted? And those of you that are around these cities that's having all this trouble, why do you think they're allowing it to happen? It's for the election, boys and girls. All of this is about the election. Now you need to stop and think about who's doing it. Do you remember when this COVID first got started? I told you that it started in America. It did. It is a patented virus. It was developed right here in the U.S. And back in like 1999 or something like that, they put a patent out on it. Really. And they patent the anything to do with it, the testing, the antidote. They patented all of it. Do you really think that in less than 6 months, with this new, strange, mysterious disease, that all of a sudden they can figure out a test strip for it, and then an antidote for it? We've got a vaccine within less than a year. Really. It takes years upon years to do that stuff. But they all did it in less than a year. Ain't that amazing? And if you'll check, it's all patent. The people that's going to make the test strips or have been making the test strips, they have to get approval from the patent holders. Those that are going to make the vaccines, they have to get approval from the patent holders. And when you have to seek their approval to do these things, that means they already have the know-how, and they're going to tell you this is how you do it. And then they follow those directions and they make it. That's how it works. Huh. Kind of funny how that works, ain't it? We've had some of the Democratic leaders, Harris for one of them, she said that the violence in the streets would not stop until the election and probably go on after the election. What does that tell you? The Democrat Party, on any of its levels, did not criticize all this violence and call them out for all their looting, burning, and nonsense. The city mayors where this was going on was pandering to them. The governors of those states was pandering to them. The Democrats in D.C. didn't have nothing to say about it until after the DNC. They had the DNC going for a week. And nowhere in there did you hear anything about it. You didn't hear about God either. They took under God out of the Pledge of Allegiance. How dare you change our pledges of allegiance for your whims? And they never said a word about all the rioting and the violence in the streets until afterwards, until after the RNC, after the Republican National Convention. Then Joe Biden and little Miss Harris, they came out with the weakest little, you guys ought to stop that. That ain't who we are. I'm tired of people telling me who I am, because they ain't got a clue who I am. Now, I'm sure I'm going to get some evil comments on here, and I probably won't even comment back to them. But I can tell you that with everything that's gone on here in the last 6 to 8 months, they're hiding something from you. They have a plan, and we're nothing but a pawn in it. Period. To my black brothers and sisters out there, they're counting on you. They're counting on you big time. They take you for granted. They figure they already got you spoon-fed. You've drunk enough Kool-Aid. And unfortunately, there's a whole bunch of the whites that bought into it too. But them, they're not counting on them. But they're counting on the black community. If you don't vote for me, you're not black. Really. And y'all bought that from Joe Biden? And the whites, they're just feeding them the hate. The never-Trumpers. They keep lying about Trump. The media keeps changing up stuff on them. They keep doing all their little fancy cutting with his tapes and stuff to make him sound like he's saying bad stuff. Right now they're saying how he was bad-mouthing the military. Hogwash. This president's been the best friend to the military there ever was. He holds all kinds of honor for our military and our first responders, our police. He ain't been bad-mouthing the military. And another one of their polls say how the military doesn't support him is hogwash. It's not true. I just hope that y'all are honestly opening your eyes. Those that watch my videos on a regular basis, I know y'all got yours open. And I hope y'all will share this video around so that it might get to some of those that don't watch my channel regularly, so that it might open somebody's eyes. And if you made it this far into the video and you're not agreeing with what I'm saying, I hope that you're smart enough to do your own homework and see if what I'm telling you is not the truth. Don't go asking your teacher, not in this day and age, because they're not going to teach you the truth. That's the word according to Papa Joe's thoughts. Like them or not, that's what I honestly believe. I want y'all to remember one other thing. He loves you. Whether you believe in him or not, he loves each and every one of us. And I love each and every one of y'all. Y'all have a blessed evening now. Do some homework, please. Do some homework. Go down the rabbit hole. Start researching. Where should you research? Start with our president. Some of the stupid stuff that they're saying he said, go find the speech that he gave or whatever he gave, whether it was at a rally or whatever. Go watch what he actually said and compare that to what they're telling you in your news that he said. Right there, if you're honest, you'll see that not only are we being played, they're playing him. I'm going to have to quit. I could go on for quite a while longer, but I'm going to quit. Y'all remember, good Lord loves you. So do I. Y'all have a good evening now. Bye.